Distinguished participants, welcome back to session 2. You're in room 801. This session will be conducted in English with Thai translation available. The devices are in front of the room as usual. Let's jump right in. This session is titled Evolving Together, Navigating Ethics and Meaning in the Age of AI, and it is hosted by the Knowledge Center and Coordination on Spiritual Health and the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, co-hosted by King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital, the Thai Red Cross Society, the Faculty of Medicine at Chulalongkorn University, and the project on AI ethics from the ground up, supported by the National Research Council of Thailand. Please help me welcome all the panelists and the moderator to the stage to start with this session. เชิญค่ะ
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, both here and online. My name is Nokbun Mavijit. I am honored to welcome all of you on behalf of the Knowledge Center on Spiritual Health and Thai Health Promotion Foundation. Thank you for joining us here in this session, Evolving Together, Navigating Ethics and Meanings in the Age of AI. Before you begin, I know that this is like a very big event with many parallel sessions. I would like to invite all of you to be here with your heart and your mind and your body, and to be here and to be present, to breathe and to explore this topic together. Today we are so busy with so many things that are distracting us that sometimes we forget to ask one important question. What does it really mean to live with AI right here and now? AI is no longer a tool sitting outside of us. It is in the way we think, we learn, and how we communicate with each other. As we feed in the data, it also its algorithm also shaping us, shaping our behaviors, our values, and how we understand each other. Historian Yuval Harari offers a very powerful metaphor that AI is a digital immigrant. It is it is a system that enter our territory without any visa, but it can enter us with the algorithm, and it is shaping us in a way that we have a different culture, and also it is taking a job, reshaping our social norms, and even influencing our political decisions. So this is not a futuristic warning, but it is inviting our conversation today that matters very much. So I would like to invite all of you to be here to help each other to reflect and to sense-making together as we explore the following questions. How AI development mirrors or differs from how the human brain works. What the latest research tell us about consciousness, both biological and artificial, and what risks AI might pose when it begins to engage with us emotionally or spiritually, and how that might reshape our identity, our awareness, and our moral sense. To help us explore these questions, we are joined by three remarkable scholars. Dr. Chaipat Chunharat, a neurologist at King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital and an expert on cognitive neuroscience with a focus on using AI in brain research. Professor Gabor Kasai joining us online, a managing director of Mind and Life Europe and rector of the Dharma Gate Buddhist College in Budapest. He will bring deep insight from contemplative science, bridging together neuroscience, spiritual inquiry, and philosophy. And lastly, Professor Soraj Hongladarom, the president of the Philosophy and Religion Study of Thailand, and former director of the Center for Ethics, Science and Technology. He is also actively researching the topic on AI and feminist philosophy. Together, they will help us explore to understand what AI is and also to reflect on what kind of relationship we want to have with it, what kind of future we want to create. And to start us off, I'd like to invite the first speaker, Dr. Chaipat Chunharat. The floor is yours, Ka.
Thank you so much for having me today. Actually, very nervous today because normally I would give the talk to an audience who usually is mostly scientists or medical profession. But let me try anyway, okay? Can I have my slide, please? So basically, I'm not an expert on spiritual health or anything, okay? I'm a brain scientist. But I'm deeply interested in Buddhism for a long time. This is a picture of me at Kanchanaburi when I ordained as a monk for about a month. And the main reason why I want to ordain is I wonder why we need to do this. As a boy in Thailand, you're supposed to ordain once in your life. I doubt that very much, but turned out to be one of the best months in my life so far. But can we try again? Can we start from the second slide? Okay. Thank you. But for my profession, when I see patients, I usually see patients sometimes with brain damage. As you can see here, this person, has anyone see anything that it's off from normal? So this is a person who come to our attention because of weakness on his left side of the body. He can still use his left arm normally, but the way that he eat food on his plate is to only eat the food only on one side of the plate, as you can see. Okay? He left everything on the left completely ignored. Okay? And in the beginning, you might not think there might be something interesting because of his weakness. But once I asked him to draw a picture of a clock, the face of the clock, he drew a picture like this. This is the medical condition that calls spatial neglect, or hemispatial neglect to be specific. It's a condition where we as a human attend to only one part of the world and completely left the other half of the world completely ignored. And it's by this condition, it made me wonder how the brain and the mind are very interconnected. Right? Then in 2009, I'm fortunate to be in a room like this room. It was a plenary session given by an MD PhD named Ramachandran. He's a scientist who are interested in a condition that called phantom limb pain. It's a condition where when the people lost their arm and they still feel as if the arm is still there. Obviously, it's very hard to treat condition because you're trying to treat the pain in the arm that already disappeared. On the surface, it looked completely like a mental disorder, but it turns out to be a brain disorder. And this is a picture of him trying to use a vertical mirror to prove that. I highly recommend you to search for his name on Google, see how he come up to that conclusion. But that talk blew my mind. I see a close connection between the brain and the mental life. So that's why I went to the States and study a field they call cognitive neuroscience. Basically, it's the field that think that we can marry these two worlds, which is on one hand biology, the brain, on the other hand computer science. Can we really, if we want to understand intelligence, can we really create an intelligence? And actually the field of AI was born in 1950, okay, at Dartmouth University. Right then, computer scientists get together and say, oh, we already have pretty much a good computer right then. It shouldn't be that difficult to make a computer smart as human. So the field of AI was born in 1950. It took a long time though before we get to this point. And one of the reasons is because when they first start, they think that they can teach the computer as rules, as if they're trying to teach a robot to go and buy some grocery store. They do it as rule-based learning, they call. They say, it shouldn't be that difficult to ask the computer to see. You just have one camera that's really good, plug into the computer. Now you have an eye and a brain. It should be able to see. Turns out it's very difficult. Marvin Minsky, who found this AI field, think that it would take only 10 years in 1950 for the computer to see. I think you guys, most of the people here might born after 1950, but you never see the computer that can identify image until this 10 years, right? And the reason that the AI these days can do that is because of specific AI system that called deep neural network. And a deep neural network is not just a metaphor for the brain. It drew direct inspiration from the brain science. And the person who trying to convince everyone that this is going to work is a guy named Jeff Hinton. You know, the one on the right upper corner. And this is what he said. I think neuroscience clearly has a huge impact on AI. The person on the left lower is Demis Hassabis. He's also a neuroscientist who worked for Google DeepMind, trying to build an AI that can beat the GOAT champion, right? So basically, the direct inspiration here is that if you want to build intelligent system, why do you want to build from scratch? You better build from something that the nature already gives you, human intelligence, for example. So I think AI is the thing right now, is because it's trying to mimic human. But how humans see our world is very different from the input in the world. You're now looking at the image, right? This is the train moving. Who see that the image, that the train is going into the tunnel? Raise your hand, please. Okay. Who see the train going out of the tunnel? Raise your hand. Okay. And now you can see that 50% of you see that the train is going in, while the other 50 of you see the train is going out. And the reason is because there's no real information on the screen. Both can be true. Interestingly though, you guys already see it. Actually, your brain already see it. Even before consulting you. You don't even know that the alternate is possible, but somehow the brain already decided for you. In fact, in the world, it's full of something like this. It's incomplete, it's ambiguous. Your brain is not trying to process it. Your brain is trying to use what you learn about the world and try to think about what could happen outside from the information that they have. This is also one of my favorite demo. Okay, this is just two circles with some gradient. It's actually one is the other, it's just an upside down version of the other one. Okay, but if I ask again, people in this room to say, which one look more like it's popping out? Okay, who think that the left one is popping out? Raise your hand. Okay, who think that the right one is popping out? Raise your hand. Okay, that's interesting. The majority of people, or 90% of people that I test, actually think that the left one is popping out. And if they ask why, it would take a little while before one of you will raise the hand and say, oh, it's because the lighting. And the lighting means that the light in our world always comes from above. And the brain kind of learned that to use for the advantage and say, oh, this must be bouncing out because the lights always come from above. It's interesting, it makes sense. But can you believe that many of you already see it bouncing out even before you know the real reason, right? And who decide that, right? To make it even more interesting, you look at this one and now it's gone, right? Because it's the same gradient, I just put it sideways. And now it no longer looks like one is popping out. And now I ask you to turn your head 90 degrees on whichever side you want. And now it's popping out. But wait, don't I just said the rule is the light come from above? And now what? Why turning your head sideways make it popping out? The reason is because your brain is applying even simple rules. The light always comes from above the head. Even though it makes it nonsense that if you turn the head, the light will move with your head, that's impossible. But it applies anyway, because this is how the brain learns. It doesn't use logic. It uses simple rules. You guys might have seen this image that, how can a person shrink and expand, right? This is almost impossible. This is real. But this can happen when the room is not actually a rectangle. It's actually formed in a way that the left corner is further away from the right corner than the right corner. But if you look at it from a certain perspective, it looked like a square, a normal room. But because the room was further away and it expanded by twice, it looked as if the room is normal. But when the person moved there, it's getting smaller, of course, because it's getting farther away. Now your brain needs to decide between two hypotheses. One, the room is not rectangle. Two, a person can shrink and expand at will. Logically, you would think that the first one is more possible, right? How can a person shrink and expand? But your brain said, I never seen any room that looked like that. This must be a rectangle room, and decide to believe that the human can expand and shrink. There's more of that, right? I don't have time to tell you about all the illusions that tell you how the brain works. Illusion is especially interesting because it tricks your brain. This is when you think that your body is your, right? But scientists have a way to trick your mind and then move the sense of yourself to a rubber hand on a table. If you have time, I can demonstrate that to you. This is what we call rubber hand. People can even crazier. They bring this rubber hand to a rubber body. They even swap between perspective and see if people can have more empathy to each other. Once they can take a perspective of the others, literally take other perspective. Put yourself in other people's shoes. And we not just get tricked by what we see or what we perceive. We also get tricked by what we think is the highest thing that we can, as a human, right? Like a moral decision. You guys might have heard of this trolley problem that, if you are seeing a trolley coming on one end, on the other end, a trolley about to crush 5 persons on the railway. The only way to stop the railway, the trolley, is that you push a big man on the footbridge onto the ground, kill him, and stop the trolley. Would you do it? That's one life over 5. You say, okay, that kind of makes sense. But nobody turned out to decide to do it. Because who are we? Who are we to decide which life should sacrifice, right? Hold your thought. Because there comes the second version. You're the same person. The same trolley is coming. There's 5 persons on the railway. But then you happen to be close to a switch that once you push it, the trolley will go on the other way, crush 1 person instead of 5. Now ask yourself again, would you do it? You might find it confusing, but in your heart, you might tempted to say, of course I would do, because then the trolley was going to kill someone anyway. Why not just kill 1 over 5? See how inconsistent we are with our decision, because our brain doesn't work like computer. We usually just give something meaning, give the world meaning, right? This is one of the cute video. I'll ask you to watch it for a little bit and tell me what you feel. Okay? There's only, a square, 2 triangles, and 1 circle moving around. But after you watch it for a while, you start to see personality in this triangle and circle, even though it just moves around. And humans have this tendency. They don't care whether that thing has consciousness or not. If it behaves like one, we tend to believe that it has consciousness. It looks like it has feeling, has empathy, right? And now the triangle is trying to hurt the circle, and the other triangle trying to help the circle out, right? Just an image. So now I go ask my favorite friend this day, ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, what do you see? Okay, you provide two circular shapes with a gradient. The left circle look like it's concave, which is hollow. The right one look like it's bumping out. The answer, just like us. Why they never see the sun? The sun never come from above the head of ChatGPT. But the way that answer mimic human completely. What does it mean? Does it mean that it like us? I say, do you really see the right one as a bump and the left one as a hollow? I say, that's a thoughtful question. I can describe everything, but sorry, I do not have consciousness, it say. I don't have subjective experience. Okay? They just behave as if they have feeling. I don't feel anything. I don't know the human sense. I don't have awareness of myself. So if you say, does ChatGPT know it exists? No. And this is this answer. I'm not trying to convince it, right? Does ChatGPT have feeling or desire? No. Does ChatGPT have inner life or stream of consciousness? No. At least I say, I don't have consciousness now, okay? And that's important, I think, because they say, right now, not yet anyway, okay? But people might be misled because they tend to give anthropomorphize things in the world. Okay, this is also fun. I also asked Gemini, and it says almost similar, but it's switch. Okay, so it's kind of just hallucinate a little bit. So I'm come towards the end of my opinion here. So people think that the machine will have feelings somehow, right? You've seen it in a movie all the time. And Jeff Hinton just gave his recent interview on, whether AI can have consciousness or not. But I think the most important thing to me is that it's asking what is the most important quality of the human, right? And this day, if you say, oh, it's art or it's creativity, AI can do this. It can draw Michelangelo with like a modern man, right? But you think what is more important than the painting here is the fact that it took him 4 years, okay, drawing this painting on the ceiling of this chapel. And that is the beautiful part. That it took human body with our constraint, with our biology, create this thing, right? So it's not about the intelligence or the output, but it might be something that is your passion or your action that is more beautiful than the output itself. So I think this is what I want to share in this session.
Thank you, Ka. Thank you for sharing the really interesting illusion and also how the brain works and also the value that we get from, putting in the effort and not just having something instantly giving us the output. So next I'd like to invite Dr. Gabor Kasai if he's ready to share.
Yes, just give me a second.
Yes. Dr. Kasai is joining us from Budapest, and thank you for getting up early to join this session with us.
Oh, no problem. It's not that early. It's 8:30 now at the moment. I would like to greet you all. It's a real privilege to join this session today. I would like to talk about the very title of this event, Evolving Together, Navigating Ethics and Meaning in the Age of AI. I'm Managing Director of Mind and Life Europe, Switzerland. That's an organization that was founded by the Dalai Lama in 1987 and Francisco Varela, a Chilean neuroscientist, to facilitate dialogue between Buddhism and science, neuroscience especially, but other natural sciences and the humanities as well. I would like to talk about an event today and the current state of affairs in research related to minds, artificial intelligence, and ethics, how these subjects are explored in the context of Mind and Life. We have a sister organization in the United States, Mind and Life Institute, so we are collaborating on a big event this October in Dharamsala, India, at the headquarters of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The title of the event is Minds, Artificial Intelligence and Ethics. And I would like to share, although this event hasn't happened yet, I would like to share the findings or the current thoughts and ideas that we are exploring in the preparation of this meeting. So you are the first ones globally being able to hear about some preliminary thoughts related to this event. Of course, the event will take place during a week and we'll explore these questions and subjects in much more depth and length. Just to show you some of the scholars who are going to be present, and I'm going to summarize their work so that you can tap into the current state of affairs in the field of AI research. We will have these colleagues there, Emily Bender, Molly Crockett. I will talk about them a little bit more. Robert Cummings, Marc-Henri Desroches, Yasun Gabriel, and we will have Tibetan scholars, also Ani Choyang, and other colleagues, including Thupten Jinpa, the chair of the Mind and Life Institute board, or His Eminence Kangse Rinpoche from Dechen Choling Monastic Institute, together with other professionals, Sean Gallagher, distinguished philosopher, Peter Herschuk, researcher of philosophy and technology, the connection between the two, Murphy Koch, Sasha Lucioni, and then I just mentioned some more names, Anat Perry, Geshe Sangpo, another Tibetan scholar, researcher, Murray Shanahan from Google DeepMind, Moog Stapleton from University of Edinburgh. Luke Steele is an early researcher in AI and robotics and the 4E tradition that I will explain later. Geshe Tapke, another Tibetan, Marika van Vugt, neuroscientist from University of Groningen. So this is quite a big group of people, big faculty, and in preparation of this meeting, we are bringing together, as you could see, contemplative scholars, neuroscientists, AI researchers, philosophers, and educators around the urgent task of rethinking consciousness and intelligence in the age of AI. As you have heard already, humans and AI have intricately been linked by now. No question about the deep embeddedness of human minds and AI and their interlink. So what can we do now? Now that it has happened so quickly and so suddenly, what can we do now? How can we reinterpret our own human nature and or relationship to AI? So we would like to seek answers. We would not only like to seek answers, but we would also like to ask deep questions and a shared inquiry across traditions, scientific, spiritual, and ethical in this meeting this October. As you could see probably already, at Mind and Life, we have a basic assumption, and that has been based on decades of work by neuroscientists and philosophers and contemplative leaders in the dialogues between science and Buddhism, that consciousness and intelligence must be re-understood as relational, embodied, and situated, that these terms are not isolated processes in the head and nor abstract computational operations. And we would like to have these scholars there in October to reveal that future intelligence cannot be reduced to predictive power or computation. It must include presence, moral awareness, and relational depth, qualities that AI doesn't yet possess at the moment and perhaps cannot, but that's an open question. We are not dogmatic about that. We would like to explore this issue. So the dialogue is going to center around one core theme: how to ethically and mindfully engage with artificial intelligence while holding in view the nature of human intelligence embodiment and the roots of suffering and flourishing in the human mind. So what is our ethical and mindful engagement with AI? We would like to explore key questions across the panels like what distinguishes living minds from artificial minds? What is the difference between the two? Can AI support flourishing and reduce suffering? It seems it can, but it can also risk amplifying inequality and harm. So how to cope with this dilemma, the sunny side and the maybe dark side of potential impact of AI? How are our minds entangled with AI technologies, cognitively, emotionally, ethically? It seems that, as I mentioned, and it has been explored already in this meeting, that our minds, human minds, are deeply entangled with AI already. So how this entanglement, how does this entanglement look at various levels, cognitively, emotionally, ethically? Can ethical values be embedded in AI? It seems one of the key challenges is to make sure that whatever we do with AI, it should support flourishing and reduce suffering in the end, based on Buddhist principles. But that would mean that we would need to embed some ethical values in the development and programming of AI, or should they? Should these values be embedded? That's a key question. Then what narratives shape our collective futures with AI? We seem to have various narratives, how AI can help us, how AI can be of benefit to humankind. But there might be other narratives too, that it is going to destroy us. It is going to challenge what humans are and what humanity as such means. And also we need to explore the question whether we can develop a certain and wide and deep and really complex system of education to prepare us for these narratives and collective futures. What education should we have around and in relation to AI? So I just highlighted one of the main speakers and just mention what they are going to bring to the dialogue, also sharing their more recent thinking. And this is basically the current state of affairs that I would like to share in this context that we are developing and exploring in Mind and Life. So His Eminence Kangsa Rinpoche will bring a non-dual meditative understanding of mind, contrasting it with algorithmic models. So there will be a deep and main statement about how the human mind operates in contrast with AI at the moment. Sean Gallagher, a philosopher of mind, a pioneer of 4E cognition, which means that the human minds are embodied, enacted, and extended. He will share a key idea that living minds, human minds, are not reducible to internal computation, that our cognition is always relational and embodied, and that will raise the question whether AI can ever reach that type of relationality, or how does it simulate that. So we would need to understand the limits of AI models for replicating consciousness. The question about AI is not whether it's intelligent, it seems it is, but whether it has consciousness. Does AI have consciousness? And what does make consciousness separate or distinct in humans? Then Marc-Henri Desroches, an expert in Buddhist philosophy, especially Japanese Tibetan traditions, will again focus on pure awareness and phenomenological experience, and we'll reflect on terms like sentience and awareness. What does it mean from Buddhist and philosophical lenses, and whether these terms can be interpreted in the context of AI or not. Murray Shanahan, this is still the first session of the meeting, exploring what minds are, what human and artificial minds are. We'll discuss and explore again consciousness and causal modeling and the theoretical limits of AI. He's an AI researcher and cognitive scientist, and he will discuss whether AI can ever replicate key human mental capacities like abstraction, imagination, or self-awareness. It's a big question. And the second session, so the first session is going to be quite philosophical. What is the difference between human and artificial minds? And then we will see in the second session, called Entanglement, or disentanglement and meaningful relationships, how we are already entangled, how human and artificial minds are already entangled. And we are going to focus on some looping dynamics. Peter Hershok, a philosopher of technology and Asian thought, will highlight that we are already in a looping dynamics between humans and technology, and that it requires relational ethics, not only between humans over individualist models, but also between humans and AI. How can we develop a relational ethics between these two forms of intelligence? And of course, he suggests that technology is not neutral. It shapes relationships and attention. Anat Perry, a psychologist, will share how AI has the capacity for meaningful relationships, and she will help us understand how we can relate to AI. Of course, there are a lot of applications where AI can help people with suffering, people with mental challenges, emotionally, also in very empathetic ways. So how is that happening, and why, and how it can be explored and developed further for the benefit of humankind. Then other colleagues will explore also Buddhist philosophical terms, interdependence and wisdom, and Mark Stapleton, who developed the idea of effective scaffolding, is going to show that our emotions and cognition are already and have been shaped by material and technological environments for many, many, many centuries already. And AI is just the most recent level or most recent development in that interconnectedness and entanglement. And that AI and other technologies are already restructuring how we experience ourselves, both bodily and emotionally. We cannot avoid the influence of technology on who we are and how we operate, how we function as humans. We are already entangled. In the third session, the collective narratives and possible futures, we will explore how our existing narratives and stories or tales we tell about AI to ourselves, whether they are dark or sunny types, define how we develop the structure of AI as such. We basically build our narratives into these systems. And these systems are also shaping our collective ethics and moral judgment. So there is another type of entanglement between what we think about AI, how AI is developed, and then how that system affects us. So that's why it's key that we decide what type of narrative we want to tell about AI in the longer run, what we want it to be used for, what we want AI to become, basically what we want humans to become, because through AI we are also shaping and developing our own self-understanding. Thupten Jinpa, a distinguished Buddhist scholar and translator of the Dalai Lama, is going to explore ethical and contemplative insights into how these narratives shape our own suffering and liberation, and whether we can develop an AI future that will lead to a compassion-based ethics, whether we can have an AI future which is compassion-based deeply instead of maybe efficient or purpose-driven. We will see. Then other colleagues, Luke Steels, who is a pioneer in language evolution, AI and robotics, is going to speak how these narratives and human communication shape artificial minds. Artificial minds are also in development, and it's up to us what type of artificial minds we want to develop. Emily Bender emphasizes linguistic diversity. She's a computational linguist and the critique of overhyped AI language models. And she sees that there are ethical limits to LLMs, large language models. And actually today we identify AI with LLMs, but AI is much more than LLMs. From Google DeepMind, Yasun Gabriel, an AI ethicist will come And this is still the session on diversity and ethics, and we will focus on justice, fairness, and democratic governance. How an AI system can be developed with these notions, together with these notions, how we can build justice, fairness, democratic governance in the very structure of AI. Can we align AI with diverse moral values without reinforcing systemic harms? So this is the social dimension of AI development. And Murphy Cook, in AI policy analysis, one of the most influential colleagues in AI policy, president of Center for AI and Digital Policy, she will advocate for human rights-centered AI governance, that we should build an AI system, an AI model or AI technology with not only specific values, but the whole view of human rights built into it. And that we would need to regulate AI in order to protect epistemic and social diversity, that various forms of knowledge and social diversity is possible and should be maintained. There is a danger that AI might lead to homogenization and less diversity in them. We will see. Other scholars will continue exploring the Buddhist views, like Kesha Tapke, and then Sasha Lucioni, an AI researcher at Hugging Face and an expert in AI and climate impact, will raise awareness of the environmental costs of large AI models and the need for sustainable and ethical tech. So it's not only an ethical question, it's also a sustainability question, how we develop and what we develop in the field of AI. The final session about education will include several colleagues who are experts and professors in contemplative education, and they will explore how the education models and systems, including contemplative education, should include considerations in relation to education, how education should be reframed, restructured, reorganized, revolutionized even in the age of AI, not only to teach expertise or skills in how to use AI. I mean, the new generation is growing up with it. They will naturally use it. But how to maintain a more humanistic approach in education still while we use technology. How can we avoid a reductionist and mechanistic thinking about both mind and machine and or interactions? How teaching ethical awareness and contemplative practices could be built into AI development itself. That's from Ani Choyang, a Buddhist nun and educator. And Robert Cummings, professor of writing and rhetorics, who studies generative AI in education, will examine how these large language models are reshaping writing, learning, authorship, and attention, and how we can still maintain our humanity or human character and nature. I would like to highlight some key insights. So we will see that real intelligence emerges from engagement, not isolation. And the question arises whether current AI can ever replicate embodied awareness. Then Emily Bender is going to share a critique that AI are not emergent minds, but statistical echoes of human training data. Murray Shanahan will ask the question whether we will be able to map the boundaries between complex behavior and phenomenal experience. I have just highlighted some key questions in the end as kind of a summary. AI certainly reflects our values, biases, and aspirations. We need to be aware of that. AI is a mirror, so we need to understand how we can build an AI system that reveals the best part of humanity, not maybe the darkest sides. And that there is a definite looping and entanglement between technology and human minds. Narratives matter. We need to develop compassionate and interdependent stories about AI. And we would somehow need to focus on ethics from within. Ethics isn't just what we program into AI, but how we live, relate, and educate in an AI world. And that's a huge, massive challenge and question. I would just like to leave the audience with this question. How can we humans live, relate to one another and to AI, and educate the next generation in an AI world? That's probably the biggest question. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Gabor. Dr. Kasai, for your introduction to the upcoming event in Dharamsala. We're so privileged to be able to hear about your exciting research. It is clear that the breadth of AI-related aspects is so wide, and its relation to other systems is very important for us to make sense of. You would be able to stay with us until the end of this session, right?
Yes, I'm available for another good hour until.
Okay, great. Thank you. So then, yeah, I would like
3 p.m. your time.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I would like to next connect to Ajahn Soraj to give us a bit of his view on AI ethics, and then we will come back to have some more discussion about how we can move forward with this topic.
Yes, thank you. So you can hear me, right? The microphone's working. My name is Soraj Hongladarom. I used to teach philosophy at Chulalongkorn University until they kind of asked me to retire because I became 60. Everybody retires at 60 years old, which to my mind is way too young. And I'm now teaching at Chulalongkorn Rachavidyalaya University. It's a long name. And it's a Buddhist university up in Ayutthaya, so about 50 kilometers north of here. I have been researching AI ethics for quite some time, and I'm now undertaking a research project. And as the moderator told us, it's funded by the National Research Council of Thailand. The title of the project in English is AI Ethics from the Ground Up. And the idea is that the norms, the values for ethics of AI should be found from the local condition. And we can talk a lot about that, for which we don't have time in this session. And I have been asked to talk about Buddhism and consciousness, which is a huge topic. And it used to be the topic for Mind and Life conferences that Gabor is taking care of right now. My focus, though, is on the ethics of AI from the Buddhist perspective, and perhaps we can find some kind of connection between the two topics, consciousness and metaphysics on the one hand, and ethics on the other hand, both of which, of course, are parts of philosophy. I'm sorry I don't have a PowerPoint because I was asked to talk for about 10 minutes or so, and I thought it's, there would be no need for a set of slides. But to come back to the topic, what is the Buddhist perspective on the mind and consciousness and the self and the person? All of these concepts are interrelated. Let us look at the beliefs of a normal person in Asia, perhaps. They believe that once a person dies, their soul will leave the body and stay somewhere else. This is kind of a very familiar point of view that everyone in Thailand knows very well. So the soul leaves the body And if you are familiar with kind of ghost movies, Thai movies, the soul will look like just look like us. Maybe they are transparent. You can see through the soul, but they look just like, suppose I die right now. My soul leaves my body, and the soul like, a transparent version of myself. And then after a while, they assume a new body. They enter into a womb of a future mother, or they might go to different realms in samsara, in the cycle of birth and rebirth. And Buddhists, together with Hindus and other followers of religions in India, such as Jainism, we believe that samsara consists of different realms, heaven and the lower realms, and the central realm, which is here, earth. Okay, this is a very familiar picture. The point is that Buddhism has a very different twist from this familiar picture. In Buddhism, you cannot posit the existence of a soul such that something as an entity leaves my body once the body dies, once my body dies, for example. On the contrary, and this is connected to the teaching on the doctrine of non-self and impermanence, and all these central doctrines of Buddhism. On the contrary, there is nothing. You mean, I mean, to be very direct, nothing leaves the body, because according to the doctrine of emptiness, my body is nothing from the beginning. So it's nothing in the sense that a rainbow, for example, is nothing, because the rainbow is nothing but an appearance such that you stand one way in a certain angle with the sun, and there are water droplets in front of you, and the sun is behind you. Then you see the rainbow. So there must be some conditions that obtain in order for you to see the rainbow. In other words, for the rainbow to exist for you. And in the same way, my body, my person, what is sitting here, talking here, exists or seem to exist in the same way. So that is basically what the Buddhists are talking about when they talk about the person and the self and the mind. So does this mean that there is no mind, absolutely no mind, like the materialists are talking in Buddhism? Not again. This is what is quite difficult about Buddhism. There are some kind of continuation, some kind of chains of causes and effect. So an analogy is like this. There is a sense in which the person who I was yesterday is not the same person who is sitting and talking right now, because some aspects of that person yesterday, those aspects do not exist right now. Maybe some elements in my body, some mental episodes which I forgot what I did mostly yesterday, and so on. So there is a sense in which the person who existed yesterday, assuming my name and so on, is not the same person as who I am right now. In the same vein, after I die, whatever is left in the chain of causation can be understood in the same way. So basically, this is what Buddhism says. So how can we conclude from this about what is the idea of the perspective of Buddhism on the mind? We cannot grasp the mind as if it were an entity, and in such a way that we can study it objectively. What we can do is that we have to reflect back. And in Western philosophy, it is quite similar to the phenomenological perspective as is found by in Edmund Husserl, for example. So you reflect back and you examine what is going on in your mind at one moment and at another moment. And when you engage in I don't have much time left, right? When you engage in the Buddhist practice, like when you study meditation, when you practice meditation, this is what the master usually tells you. Once your mind is clear, once you become calm down from external thoughts and so on, you examine what is there inside your mind, and then whatever you find is the content or the mind itself. So basically that is the idea of the Buddhist mind. And it could be related to what my friend Chaiwat used to say about the relation between the brain and the mind, and the brain has much to do with the conception of the body, and cases of phantom limbs, for example. The brain believes that there is a hand where in fact the hand has been lost, and that kind of thing. So the next part of my talk, in the time that we have left, I would like to leave some time for us to have a discussion session. How does this relate to questions about ethics? And what does AI, because we are talking about AI in this whole session, how does AI get involved in this very ancient teaching? And I would say quite a bit, because when we look at the mind as something that is part of the continuation of the chain of cause and effect and so on, the next job is to imagine a robot or an AI system that is supposed or that could do the same thing. So we are not talking about there being a soul that enters into the brain or the empty container within a robot, thereby making the robot alive. I think that idea is out. It is too old. It is something that cannot be engineered, cannot be ascertained by modern science. But if we look at what the robot is doing in such a way that they can be related, or in such a way that we can relate to it, to the robot, as if the robot is a member of our community. It does not do so right now, but perhaps it's a thought experiment. Is it possible in the future, or can we imagine a robot which is so much like us that we forget that it's a robot, that we can talk with it and we can become friends, in such a case, then even though we cannot see inside the robot to see whether it has a mind or not, we can behave, we can act as if the robot has a mind, even though it might not. That is what I've been thinking at the moment. So, how about ethics? Then, in this imagined scenario, with the robot becoming a member of our community, then we have the ethical dimension, because being a member of our community entails that such a member must be ethical. Otherwise, it cannot be a member. Otherwise, get banished. Thai people, live in Thai society. We have certain norms, certain rules of behavior, and someone does not respect or violates the norm so much. What happens is that we don't see them as a member of our community anymore. So something like that will tie in the ethics with the idea on consciousness. So.
Thank you, Ajahn Sorat. It is very interesting. You pointed out that if we see AI as one of us, it might qualify them as having consciousness, right? But as of now, when we asked the last time, Dr. Chaipat checked, it still says not yet, right? So, I'm seeing the kind of the trend or the linkage between each speaker. The first is about like human mind, how it's so complex that we can't really understand everything, or even how it calculates or how it captures reality, because the reality is so big, and maybe what we capture is only one sense of it, just a glimpse of it, right? And then also from the Dr. Kasai, that is living mind cannot be reduced to internal computation only, and then from Dr. Sorat, that emerging mind is that the mind is emerged every day. I mean, yesterday was yesterday, and today is another Sorat, another Dr. Chaipat, another Nok. So, in this sense, how do we create governance that to steer the ethical AI or the AI with ethics? Can I pass it back to Ajahn Sorat?
Oh, me?
Yes.
A social issue, right? Governance. I've been thinking of Gabor's question that he has left for us to think about. Ethics of artificial intelligence is not just the matter of programming AI to be whatever we want it to be, but it involves how we ourselves, human beings, live, and how we human beings create a better society. So AI ethics in the end boils down to ethics of human beings, or the ethics that we in philosophy classes have been talking about since a long time ago. How can we have a good life? How can we create a good society where all kind of positive values prevail, such as equality, compassion, justice, and so on? So I think this is a very important question. And when we talk about governance, we talk about how we can actually create such kind of society so that it becomes a reality. And this is a huge issue in Thailand, because for those of you who are not from Thailand, perhaps You may know from news reports that we in Thailand have been embroiled in kind of a deep political divide for more than 2 decades right now. And we don't see a way out. Many have tried. There have been coup d'etats, and the people, I mean, am I allowed to talk politics? But a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
We still have 2 speakers that have to comment on this. So.
Yeah. So to cut the matter short, what I would like to say is that, when we talk about governance, we cannot avoid talking about politics, because it's only through politics, the use of policy and implementation and the use of power that makes the government issues become reality. So we have to have rule of law, and we have to have equality, justice, which is a point of contention, at least in Thailand right now.
Thank you ค่ะ Dr. Sheikh.
ครับ very impressive. Thank you, Dr. Kasai and Ajahn Sorat, for enlightening me. And I think, from my point of view, I think that the ethic means a lot for the society, not each individual. We don't have to wait for an AI to have consciousness before we say it have responsibility to comply to the ethics. Because as I demonstrated earlier, that the human brain is so, it's easy to believe in what they want to believe. The system doesn't have to have a mind, and we want to believe that it has a mind. And say, if I fall in love with one AI, and someone would take it away from me, it will hurt my feeling, right? So I think the ethical part is that we have to admit that we don't have to worry about the AI having a consciousness or not. In the same way that neuroscientists sometimes doesn't worry about whether human have free will. We need ethics anyways, that we can reduce human to AI, or we can raise the AI to the human level. It doesn't matter, because the ethic need to we need ethic in order to have a peaceful society. And to have a peaceful society, I think, is what is important, and maybe more important than intelligence itself. I think we are a bit scared of AI this day, because we're going to have something that have maybe even better intelligence than us. But if we think that human is all about intelligence, then we're in trouble. But what if we are not all about intelligence at all, right? Then if we're about ethics, if we're about harmony, if we're about peacefulness, then it's a completely different story.
So intelligence might not be the highest priority. Yeah. Can I invite Professor Kasai to give us a little bit of comments on how to navigate? Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you. It's a fascinating discussion. I really appreciate the session and all the contributions. I think the main point here is that there are no values neutral systems. Every system, every technology, every activity that we humans do and we humans are involved in are values driven or filled with values, whether they are destructive or constructive, whether they are compassionate or alienating. That's another question, but there is no neutrality of values in any system that we develop. And I think that's a key realization, because we used to think that we can develop neutrality, that we can develop objectivity, that technology or science itself can be neutral, can be objective. And that's not true. Even the most objective facts or the most objective scientific discoveries have and include certain values statements and values perspectives. So we cannot avoid the notion of values in anything that we create or build. The only question, if that's true, The only question is what type of values we build into our life, into our activities, into our operations, into our science, into our technology. What are the values that are driving these systems? And the most challenging point is that some of these values are in contradiction with each other. For example, we would like to facilitate a type of life for humanity, for humankind, that people can live long. That's a value that we try to build into our medical science or medications, our lifestyle even. But that might be in conflict with other values. Or we want everyone to be happy. We want everyone to live well. We want well-being. We want growth. We want physical, mental health. But our own well-being, humans' well-being, might be in contradiction with the well-being of the ecosphere or the ecological systems. So we would always need to realize that there are values in the systems that we build, but also that these values create a very complex world in which some of them, or most of them, are in conflict and in contradiction with each other. So complexity is a big challenge. And as we move towards a more complex world, AI might be something that we can navigate this complexity with. I'm not sure, but there might be a hope for that. But we would then need to establish that value system at the very core of AI development. I think that's what is at stake here. Whatever technology we humans build, it can be used for good or bad. It can destroy life, or it can further and enrich life. And it's up to us, humans, to decide what we use these technologies for and how we live together with them. And I think that's a massive stake here with AI that requires regulation, that requires high-level attention and awareness, and the policy, very high-level policy at all levels, governmental, international policy, that builds the right set of values with the right purpose into these systems. That has been true for decades. Of course, when the nuclear power was discovered and was then utilized, it was the same question, whether it is used for the destruction of life or whether it is used for furthering or enriching life. The same question arises here. And the stakes are higher because AI touches the very core of what we think we humans are, which is intelligence. If we realize that we might not only be intelligence, but also morality or compassion or caring at our very core, then we might be able to move beyond a mechanistic reductionist view of technology. I think that's what is at stake here. We would need to realize that we humans must be ethical, moral beings at our very core, not only efficiency and survival-driven beings.
Thank you. Yeah, the system has to be designed with values that we all co-create, right? And I think that intelligence might not be the highest priority here, but it's how we live together and how we live with AI. And talking about mind, human mind is such a very deep subject, and it could take more than one day to discover all these aspects. But we really thank you for your insightful comments. But then we still would like to get some reflection from the three guests with us today. Can I invite Mel to give us a little bit of reflection, maybe 1 minute?
Yes. So I guess, thank you. Oh, I got two of them. Thank you. Wow, such a fascinating discussion, really amazing, and I love all the different perspectives. I think the question that kept coming up in my mind related to consciousness is, so There's a researcher named Dr. Clara Colombato out of Princeton and out of Waterloo who did a study and found that 3/4 of Americans already believe that AI has some form of subjective experience. So this is sort of like a messy line of thinking and questioning for me because we're always looking for evidence, right? We want evidence so we can build frameworks, so we can help people. And if we're looking for evidence, is the perception of AI consciousness as important as actually finding evidence of consciousness? And does that distinction even matter in terms of where we're moving in the future? So I think that's it.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite คุณเอกภัทรค่ะ the project manager of Berkban Fest to give us some reflection ค่ะได้ค่ะ
โอเคครับสวัสดีครับขออนุญาตไปพูดภาษาไทย but I understand English very well just not confidence so ก็คือว่าผมทำเป็นคนที่มีความหลากหลายทางเพศเนาะเดือนนี้เป็นเดือนพรายฉะนั้นผมอาจจะแชร์ตรงนั้นว่าเวลาที่เราฟังแล้วเนี่ยมันเหมือนตื่นเพราะว่ามันระบบประสาทอัตโนมัติบางอย่างบอกว่ามันอันตรายมันมีการอันตรายขึ้นมาหรือใจมันก็เต้นตึกๆเลยนะบางเรื่องที่เราได้ฟังมันมีแบบนี้เนาะฉะนั้นสิ่งที่ได้มาก็เรื่องความสัมพันธ์ของธรรมชาติของ AI มันเป็นยังไงแล้วรากมันมาจากอะไรเนาะฉะนั้นถ้าเราฟังด้วยกันพูดวิทยากรพูดเรื่องของความเป็นพุทธเนี่ยรากมันอาจจะมาจากความโกรธความโลภหรือว่ามนุษย์มันไม่ได้มันสร้างสิ่งนี้ขึ้นมาใช่ไหมหรือความภาพลวงตาบางอย่างฉะนั้นเมื่อเราวิเคราะห์ไปถึงเรื่องของความทุกข์แล้วมันมาจากไหนหรือความทุกข์เฉพาะกลุ่มเราก็จะเห็นว่าคนรุ่นใหม่ใช้เพราะว่ามันต้องการการยอมรับหรือว่า LGBT เราต้องการการแสดงออกการเป็นส่วนหนึ่งการไม่โดดเดี่ยวหรือคนที่ถูกทำร้ายผู้หญิงที่ถูกทำร้ายจากครอบครัวเนี่ยเขาก็ต้องการคนที่เข้าข้างเนาะหรือคนที่อย่างเราเนี่ยเราเป็นคนที่จบม.6 ใช่ไหมฉะนั้นเวลาที่เรารู้สึกว่าเราไม่ฉลาด AI มันมาจากความฉลาดบางอย่างที่แบบว่ารู้สึกว่านุชฉลาดไม่พอเส้นนอฟแบล็กหมายว่าเรารู้สึกว่าเราฉลาดไม่พอแล้วพัฒนาปัญญาประดิษฐ์ขึ้นมาเพื่อจะมาเติมเต็มความรู้สึกความฉลาดบางอย่างบนสิ่งนั้นเนาะฉะนั้นตรงนี้มันทำให้เราเห็นว่าเพราะอะไรเราถึงต้องใช้ AI ในการตอบ proposal ในการเขียนรายงานส่งในการที่เราจะต้องทันกับโลกที่มันเร่งเราต้องผลิตต้องทำตลอดเวลาฉะนั้นเนี่ยสิ่งนี้มันทำให้เราเห็นกลับไปย้อนมองว่าแล้วเรื่องสุขภาวะมันสำคัญนะมันสุขภาวะมันสำคัญว่าพูดกันถึง AI เนี่ยแต่ว่าไม่ให้เราใช้แต่มหาลัยสามารถที่จะให้เราส่งงานช้าได้ไหมยกตัวอย่างนะหรือที่ทำงานเนาะหรือว่าค่อยๆเป็นค่อยไปได้ไหมหรือไม่ต้องจับมือถือเลยได้ไหมซึ่งพวกนี้มันเป็นหมายถึงว่าโครงสร้างทางสุขภาวะและเทรนด์ของสังคมที่กำลังไปที่เราให้เราผลิตแต่บอกว่า AI อันตรายฉะนั้นคนที่ชายขอบเรารู้สึกว่าคนชายขอบต้องการเข้าถึงมันก็เหมือนศาสนาเนาะว่าเราไม่ต้องผลักไสความเป็นจิตหมายว่าถ้าพังพุทธก็คือไม่ผลักไสมากเกินไปหรือไม่ยึดติดมากเกินไปแต่ภาวะที่มันไม่สมดุลตรงนี้เราว่าคนชายขอบหลายคนก็สามารถใช้เครื่องมือตรงนี้มาเพื่อที่จะทำให้เข้าถึง AI ในแง่ที่เป็นสายความสมดุลไม่มากขึ้นเหมือนกันนอกจากความอันตรายเนาะฉะนั้นขอยกสรุปสั้นๆเพราะว่าเวลาน้อยมากก็เรารู้สึกว่าอยากให้มองเรื่องจริยธรรมมากไปกว่าจริยธรรมก็คุณธรรมความเป็นธรรมต่างๆซึ่งสิ่งนี้ถ้าเรามองว่า AI มันสามารถเป็นเครื่องมือที่พัฒนาข้างในคนได้เป็นลักษณะคุณค่าภายในก็ตามอำนาจภายในก็ตามแต่ไม่ใช่มาแทนที่เหมือนที่ปฏิวัติอุตสาหกรรมมาแทนที่คนหรือผลิตทุนนิยมมาแทนที่การความสุขเนี่ยถ้าเรามองเป็นเรื่อง happiness หมายว่าเรื่องของความสุขความเบิกบานเนี่ย AI มันอาจจะเป็นแบบนั้นเราอาจจะกำหนดให้ที่ทำงานของเราใช่มีความสุขมากขึ้นและพึ่งพา AI หรือเสพติดหรือไม่สุดโต่งปฏิเสธกับมันได้มากขึ้นครับขอบคุณครับ
เรื่อง AI กับการศึกษาใช้ AI ได้เมื่อไหร่มันได้คืออยากให้อยู่ต่อเซสชั่นต่อไป
and then Sanju Mr. Sanju mental health advocate and founder of Sati app
Hi guys ได้ครับเป็นคนไทยนะครับ so very exciting presentations by the three of you and I think I'm coming from the field of mental health. There's a lot of uncertainty about AI when it comes to how it deals with emotions, how it deals with people with mental health condition because we know that when people are at a very vulnerable stage, they're easily being able to take on any information that's given, even if it's from artificial intelligence, or even if it's from human beings. And I think one thing is that it's very hard for anyone to understand that the mind is not just the mind. The mind is the biological sense of mind, psychological, social environment. And that's why the human brain, the human mind, and the human behavior is so complex, because it's filled with nuance, which means that if today we have 4 of us here, it's 4 consciousness. That means that we have 8 billion consciousness in the world. At the same time, when AI is being developed, but using only consciousness of just a few in the western part of the world, and not of the majority who live in the eastern part of the world. And so AI can be a tool for good and also a tool that can do a lot of harm. And I think this brings to what Dr. Soraj said as well, that when we talk about AI, we also talk about the governance, and the governance comes with politics and policies around it. It then comes to the question whether the politics around it is answering the need of the political stakeholder or political shareholder. Because if we answer the need of political shareholder, then ethics and red tapes, anything could be taken out, so that AI can exponentially just keep on developing without caring of ethics. But then if we put in stakeholder, which look at the public, then there's going to be a lot of red tape, a lot of regulations and whatnot, which would be better. So I think it also comes down to how do we balance the need of ethics and the red tape that come that might slow down the progress, or that might increase the progress too fast that it can be not beneficial for us. So that would be my take on it.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, we could keep on talking about this forever, but I got the warning many times already. So I just like to thank you all. Thank you, our speakers and our guests, and to all of you to join us, to join this conversation this afternoon. Our future is not something that would just happen to us. We should be here to build and shape it. And thank you for being here. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you so much.
I would like to have a quick group photo before we go, please. ค่ะเชิญคุณซันจูคุณแมวแล้วก็น้องอะไรนะคะน้องเอกวัตรใช่ค่ะเชิญเลยค่ะเชิญถ่ายรูปด้วยกันค่ะ
I would like to invite the speakers to remain on the stage, and the guests of honors, please join us on the stage as well. คุณนกเชิญบนเวทีเลยค่ะ While the picture is being taken, I would like to remind everyone that there is an evaluation form to please kindly fill out to help us out so we can make your experience here next time better. ระหว่างที่รอนะคะหลังจากถ่ายภาพเรียบร้อยแล้วเราจะมี QR code สำหรับการกรอกแบบประเมินความพึงพอใจในการเข้าร่วมงานเสวนาในวันนี้นะคะยังไงช่วยขอความร่วมมือของทุกท่านช่วยกรอกแบบประเมินให้ด้วยนะคะขอบคุณค่ะ